of its chances. Okay, what they're looking for, how hard it is to win. Next, what do you control? You control very few pieces of the puzzle. But the pieces that you control are things you can start working on. Once you identify your country, once you identify your strengths, whether they match to that country, you control the following pieces. Waiting to see that everyone's going to write this down. Number one, the research essay, or if you're applying for a teaching assistantship, your statement of purpose on why you want to teach English in that country. Your research essay has to, as well as teaching English essay, both of them have to convey this critical piece of knowledge. It has to do it in a subtle way, that you know where you're going. Knowledge of the host country is perhaps the largest category of why people do not get advanced in this process. You must go beyond Wikipedia in your research. You must actually look at books. You must talk to professors if you're not taking a class that studies the history, culture, literature of that country. You should try to find one for the fall and take such a course and talk to the professor and learn as much. This is your job over the summer, in addition to starting writing things, is to know your host country. The politics, the history, the geography, the literature, the art, anything that might be relevant. Because the United States is paying your way so that you can do well as an ambassador of the United States. This whole purpose of this entire program is to create world peace. How well is it doing? Just checking. It will be up to you in your Fulbright grant year to achieve the mission of the Fulbright. You personally must achieve world peace with whatever country you're going to. Okay? Just want you, I'm putting pressure on you, but you must achieve world peace. Seriously, you must know where you're going. And depending on whether you're doing research or teaching English, you must not only show that knowledge in your research grant in your first essay, but you also must tie in why it is you must be in that country. If you are doing a research grant, you must show that you could not possibly do what you want to study except by going there. Now, in research grants, you are allowed, entitled, and encouraged to look at the local universities. This is where we often get our affiliations for research. Local universities. So again, online while you're doing research over the summer, look at universities in that country that offer courses at an advanced level in what you are interested in studying. Doesn't apply for teaching, but it does apply for research. Affiliating with a university, contacting someone in the department in which your field of research is, that is very important. Second or third or fifth thing, I've lost count, on the essay, you have a very short amount of space. For a research proposal, you have 2 single-space pages. For a teaching essay, applying purpose for teaching English, 1 single-space page. Thus, you must pack in what was talked about as feasibility. You must pack in, if you are doing research, that you know the field that you're studying, that you've identified the resources in that country, both in the university and perhaps out in the field, that you know and have a plan, not day by day, but month by month or semester by semester. You must show how you're going to do it. Because the Fulbright do not like to put people into the country for 9 months and then say, what do I do next? You're on your own. You're an independent scholar. You are not going to be supervised in that sort of way. If you are teaching English, it's not only why you want to teach English in that country, but how you will teach English in that country. What methods and materials, what stuff from the U.S. will you bring in? Remember, you're bringing world peace. You must show them the good side of American culture through your materials. Look for it instead. Now, the second piece that you control, so that's your essay. I will work, as will these gentle folks and others, I will work with every person who is a Dyson student, and I will want to see drafts of your material before Labor Day. Okay? You control that. The second is probably even harder. You have to write a one-page personal history essay, what they call sometimes the curricula vitae, but is really an intellectual autobiography. You have one page for your entire life. I've discovered most students can't do this. It's very hard to write about yourself in a way that both sounds true, lying is frowned on in this process, and modest. Okay? You must be able to write where you came from, what your intellectual influences have been, where you grew up, how you got high school, why you came to Pace for college, what you've been doing here. You must tell us why getting a Fulbright will be the next logical step in your intellectual and personal growth and life. And you have to do that in one single space page. And again, we want to see drafts of that early on, because revision is the key to either of these essays. The personal statement is the same whether you're teaching English or research. They want to know you. Third thing, you've got to get letters of recommendation from professors, from people who know you intellectually. And you will ask, can I do a supervisor, an employer, something like that? The answer is generally no, unless they can speak to your intellectual ability to do this project. And the letter of recommendation must not be, this was a wonderful student. I've heard news. This was a wonderful student, sat in the front row of the class, participated in every discussion, got an A on every paper. That's nice. There are 6,000 other people like that applying. They need to know from your letter of recommender that you can do this specific project in this specific country. So your faculty letters of recommendation should come from people you have shown your rough draft of your proposal to. They must be able to talk specifically to what you intend to do in that letter. Okay? These are the pieces you control. Who you ask for letters, what your essay is essay in terms of research proposal or statement of purposes, what your personal statement is. These are the things that will determine how well you do. So first, go to the website, look up your country, make certain that your interests and abilities match the country's interests and abilities in granting. Second, start researching the country. Unless you were born there. People who were born in various countries and are now American citizens, you can apply back to your home country if you came to the country as a small child. That's the one exception to that 6-month rule. If you came here like under 5 or 6 before you got into school, that's okay. But once you get into school, they don't want you going back to your original country. If you were a small kid, you can go back to your original country. But what do you know about the country is absolutely critical. Do that research, then start writing, and give your draft to somebody who knows. Because not just me and Christine and Teresa and others, find professors who know that country and know that field, and give it to them to review your essay on your research proposal. We will help you find affiliations, we will help you draft good essays, but you have to get started. If you want to shorten the odds, getting started early is the best way. Okay? So that's my brief thing. What do you want to go to questions?
Yeah.
You want to go to questions? Why don't you come on down? So, what can we tell you? Teresa, do you want the mic?
No, just okay. At the end. If you haven't filled out your survey, please do. And if you haven't met with me beforehand, please do after this. Just so I can say that you were here and with me in contact. Questions?
Yes, in the back.
I'm not a PACE student.
Congratulations.